Hello and welcome to the 11th episode of Naughty Lines, the show where lines are drawn below the belt and sometimes above the belly. Today, I have with me a very special guest. Please welcome PinkAnimations.
Heyo.
Pink is an amazingly talented animator and artist on Twitter, and
Flatter me.
I must say I am a very big fan of your work.
Well, thank you, thank you. I love what you're doing here. I'm a fan as well.
Well, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm so happy to have you on the show. Really, thank you for agreeing to be on the show.
I was excited at the idea. Plenty of people have been bringing it up on my Curious Cat. Actually, there's like, "You're gonna be on the show." I was like, if they'll have me.
Okay. So, as always, in the beginning, I'll be asking you some routine questions that I ask all of my guests, and then after the routine questions, they'll be scattered everywhere. But I'll also ask a couple of questions like about like you yourself, like facts about you or your advice to others that may be watching the show.
Excellent.
All right. So, first off,
Hmm.
uh, what is it? First off, what got you started on your art journey? What got you to be the person you are today with your art?
As far as I've been doing art for as long as I was able to, as long as I've been able to hold like a pencil. I did a lot of drawing at my great grandmother's house, and just as a kid, you draw. A lot of kids draw, and that was basically me throughout my time as being a child. And I just kind of held on to that in high school and kind of dropped off for a little bit, but I got back into it after I left high school and got a job. I ended up getting back into doing art after that because my kind of career paths had changed, and I was just like, I want to pick up art again. So I started doing that shortly after getting out of high school again.
Okay. Awesome. All right. And so I don't I don't ask
Yeah.
this question to everyone.
Okay.
I'm just curious myself.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't mind me asking what your age is.
24.
24. Nice. You are just a bit older than me. And
Yeah.
I am
I
upset.
I get a lot of people who think I'm much, and also especially over audience. I also get a lot of people who think I'm a girl. I have no idea where that comes from. Uh, I'll get a lot of ma'ams on phone calls. I don't. It catches me off guard every time, and I'm like, I don't know what you're. Okay.
I get the same thing over phone calls. I hear ma'am sometimes.
And it's I'm always just like, all right. I'd also, regardless of ma'am, it's just, I don't know. It's just funny to me.
Okay. All right. And so the next question for you would be I should have asked this first, but
Hmm.
I'm a big dummy. So this question is who are you and what do you do?
Well, I am an animator. Go by PinkAnimations online. I say animator. I like to, I don't know. Personally, I see that title as maybe a little bit too good for me. I What I do currently is I take wonderful art from other artists, and either for them or people who've commissioned it from those artists, I take those images, I cut them up, and I proceed to make rigs, and I turn those into animations.
Okay. So more okay, so yes, it is animation.
Hmm.
And for all of those art justice warriors out there, chill out because I can already feel you typing right now, you friggin' nerds. That whenever he says take art, he's not
Yeah,
stealing it. Know that now. He's not stealing it. He's using it to make something new.
yeah, and I always that is a big fear. Every day I do this. There's always that fear where someone will come at me for it, but like it's always in the most well made intentions with every precaution taken to ensure that everything's okay with it. Besides, I like to surprise people with it sometimes, so sometimes I skip asking them first, but I always try to. It's always people I think will be involved with it, especially if the mutuals or anything like that. I don't ever just come at someone out of nowhere
Mm-hmm.
and just take their work. That's never something I want to do.
Okay. And so the next question for you is, how do you work? Like, uh, how do you get into either the mindset, or how do you get into the mindset, and also like, uh, I guess the next thing to add to that would be what you use in terms of hardware and software wise.
So as far as how do I get into the mindset? It's honestly at this point I see it as work sometimes. I enjoy what I do, but I do see it as a kind of thing I need to get done. So I usually just sit down at my computer and just get myself in the headspace, put some headphones on, blast some music, and just chill. I currently use Adobe Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not Flash, Animate CC 2019. I know a lot of animators out there really hate it, and I get it. There are a lot of things that are frustrating about it, but I it does a good job. It's got some nice tools for me. I am working on a Artisol D13 tablet. It's good for me. There's probably a lot of things wrong with it because it's the only thing I used that I'm not that I see. But it does a good job for me.
Okay. Uh, all right. So just so also here's a
Mhm.
question from me. What music are you blasting?
Oh God, a whole range. My personality is very flexible in terms of things that I enjoy. So it's everything from like MCR, AJR is a good one. I mean, Lady Gaga, and but anything that's good, anything that's popular, I also play, but also musicals as well. Simul uh, Switching between Hamilton, Beetlejuice, falsettos, In the Heights, just a bunch of different musicals on there too. It's an array. If you were someone to go through my library, they would not be able to tell what my tastes are, and it's because it's whatever.
Nice. I'm very I like all kinds of music as well, but
Mm-hmm.
I seem to keep to a kind of formula, kind
Mm-hmm.
of because like I'm a huge fan of like NSP.
Oh, of course.
And, like there's NSP, and then for what is it? I'm a huge old rock fan, like
Mm-hmm.
AC/DC, Aerosmith, those kind of things. And there's just one genre that I can't stand, and for all
Here
of
it is.
you, for all of you
Here it
out
comes.
there who's gonna flame me for this, which I hope you don't, because I mean it's just, in my opinion, not a good genre of music.
Here it
Uh,
is.
country.
Yep, there it is. There it
Yeah,
is.
there it is.
Fucking country, knew it.
I
It's
don't.
everything but country.
I don't like country because, in my opinion, it's the same song
Yeah,
every single time.
yeah. I mean, to give country credit, there are a minimal selection of country songs which I jam, but those are like the big name country was like country songs. But like besides that, like I can't stand it, and also just there's a vibe country puts off that I'm not a fan of.
Mm-hmm. The
But
depressed kind of vibe.
well, I can enjoy depressing music. I just don't. I don't know. There's something about that twang that I just don't.
The
that
twang.
it's just a twang to it.
Twang. There was
But
a fun fact for you. Did you know that
yeah.
that Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish is now the acclaimed country singer known as Darius Rucker?
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat too. And if you call him Hootie, apparently he will be very mad at you.
I mean, imagine some people like to put certain things behind them.
But it's Hootie and the Blowfish. It's awesome.
I mean, yeah. So, I don't know. Some people get very defensive about very specific things.
Okay, so the next question for you would be, in your opinion, what role does artists have in society? Like, what role do artists play in our working society?
I mean, art is. everywhere. I mean, from buildings to, I mean, the computer that we're currently sitting on, the not sitting on, computer we're working on, yeah, everything has some aspect of art and design in it. I mean, from a technical aspect, art is everywhere. But I mean, in more general terms, in what I do and what other artists do, and like what you do, it serves as a way of filling the space, filling our lives. Because I mean, if all we were doing is surviving, life wouldn't be really worth living. Because
Hmm.
art is what gives every us purpose. There's art in everything.
Yeah, because and I completely agree with that. Because when it comes to because when you say art is everywhere, it's really true. Because people don't think like, oh, the art is a useless thing to have, and it has no place in our society. Like I hope you know that in order to like all these logos that you see, all of these posters that you see, like all these things on TV, that's an art form of some kind. Like this logo on my hand sanitizer bottle, the logo had to be made by a design artist. Like it art is everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, down to like every last thing that you see, like housing, freaking every houses looking nice. That's setting houses. That's an art form. Everything is art. You can't really like downplay the incredible role that art plays in everyday everyone's lives.
Okay, so next question would probably be how has your practice changed over time, like with your workflow or as far as it goes with balancing your practice with your like with your own lifestyle, and if anything that like a habit from back then to now, if anything's changed.
So as time has gone by with everything, I've changed a lot of the ways that like a lot of the art that I end up picking for animations. I used to try to do take any piece of artwork, anything someone would bring me, they wanted to bring me, but I've just now realized that like with the process of how I work, I anything with soft shading or nice gradients is just it doesn't turn out well. It doesn't look good, and I can't fix that on my end. So I've started not taking those. And quite recently, I've also changed up my workflow, the way I work on a regular basis. I tend to uh not stay up late anymore. I used to pull all nighters working on projects, but I've now changed for both my health and my personal life to just take it slow, work when I can. Things are a little slower now, but honestly, it's the quality of life is much better.
Right, because burnout is never a good idea. Like it's never a good thing.
No, and it's I mean, you think you're getting a better product in the end because you're getting more done, but in the end, you really there's mistakes that you don't notice or you rush things because you're frustrated and you just want it to end. But being able to take time on a piece allows me to really ensure the best product that I can get.
Okay. And what work do you most enjoy doing? Like what kind of pieces do you like most? Because I noticed that a lot of your because I noticed that a lot of the work that I've been seeing so far, not all of it, but I've noticed that there are a lot of NSFW pieces that you've done. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so which would you consider your favorite to do?
Um, hmm. So I tend to enjoy working on pieces that are one flat color, cell shaded, and I also enjoy working on pieces that are just very simplistic styles. There have been a lot of times where people bring me styles that are a little bit more realistic side, and those just don't tend to look the best. I think there was uh, a God of War one I did a while back that was more realistic, and it just, I mean, the product was good, but it just didn't look as good as anything like a more cartoony style, like what's I mean, Miskatoon, anyone like that. It just like the more cartoony the better. I love working with cartoony styles, and it's my favorite stuff to work with.
Okay, awesome. Just if it's like if it's just actually like real life, kind of like IRL shading and such, like hyper realistic. That's more difficult to work with. But anything that's like cell shaded or just flat colors, that's probably the best route to go.
Oh yeah, no. If someone I've turned down a lot of commissions of people who have brought me stuff with a lot of shading and like soft lighting and filter on top of filter, and it's just it's like I can't work with it. There are people who are willing to and are willing to put the extra editing time and extra work, or people who have the programs who can work with it, but it's just not something that it's become more. I've after doing this for so long, I've realized more effort than it's worth in the end.
Okay. Uh, would you say that you had a scary experience during your art times? Like, was there ever a time while you've been doing this where something just scared the crap out of you, whether it be someone who was commissioning you or just anything like during that time?
Scared, not really too much. Everyone I really interact with is super super nice. There was some old friends that I used to have in high school. I think the only fear I have is we ended up cutting ties a while back, but um we were all the same. We all used to be extremely horny people, extremely into NSFW stuff, and over time they just kind of distanced from that. So I always have kind of a fear in the back of my mind that they'll stumble upon me again and just try to, I don't know, make my make my life miserable.
Hmm. I mean, like, so do they not like do you think they wouldn't support you like with what you do?
I know that a lot of them don't actually. There was a moment where I followed one of my old friends on Instagram, and they invited people, like they posted on there like, "Hey, I got a Twitter. Follow me on there. I'm really active." And I'm like, "Oh, sweet. Like I haven't talked to them in a long time. Like I want to hang out, so like I'll follow them on Twitter." And like I was an NSFW artist then, and like I followed them, and everything was going great. And then one day they just blocked me out of nowhere, and I was like, they just well, the first they unfollowed me, I was like, oh yeah, I understand if it's my NSFW stuff, like you don't need to like I retweet a lot.
Mhm.
So I understand the reason why not wanting to follow me, but then they just blocked me out of nowhere, and then I had to go through channels, talk to other friends, and I finally found out like my stuff made him uncomfortable. I was like, you didn't, I don't know, could have talked to me about it or something. I could have made a safe word account for him, but yeah, they kind of drifted away from everything like that, and they were embarrassed of my work and didn't want their other friends that I didn't know to see, or they would, I don't know. They got really unsupportive as time went on.
Mhm. Okay, man, that does suck to hear because there's a lot of people who, when it comes to this show,
Hmm.
some of my friends are supportive of it. Definitely the friends that I've made online, but some of the IRL friends they're kind of iffy about it just because they don't think that they don't think that it's really a show that needs to be seen. They have different views of from me. Obviously, it's
Hmm.
everyone has different views, but I completely get what you mean.
Hmm.
Especially since I've had my fair share of people like literally telling me that I shouldn't even be making this show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I completely get it. It does suck, but I mean, and yeah, they should have talked to you about it. But
Oh yeah,
what are you gonna
there's a
do?
lot of stuff. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of stuff with them where it just uh yeah, it's a whole story with them, but yeah, I do have a couple IRL friends that, I mean, of course pandemic wise haven't hung out with them in a while, but they're My newer friends, they're completely supportive of my work. Uh, they don't get some of it, or some of it doesn't make sense to them, but like they are 100% behind me and they support me. And those are the people that I really hold dear.
Okay. So, one question that I've asked before to other guests that
Mm-hmm.
it like some people say it's a no-brainer, like, oh yeah, obviously, but
Yeah.
there is some controversy out there, or
Yeah.
controversy. So, in your opinion, you being a artist and animator, that kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
do you believe that art should be funded?
Oh, of course. Yeah. No. We're like regardless, like art should never have to be a free thing.
Mm-hmm.
It you honestly, if someone is putting time and effort into something, there always should be some way of them being able to support themselves. It shouldn't. It should always be funded. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, okay. So that brings me into the next question. With that, because I'm sure, like, well, I don't know if you have or not,
Mm-hmm.
but have you ever gotten those people in your DMs who talk to you about commissions, and then whenever you get to pricing, they're like, okay, see, the thing is, I don't have it right now, so if you could do this one for free, that would be great. Those
I've
kind of
actually
things.
been I've actually been super lucky on that front. I mean, I do. There have been plenty of times where people have like DM'd me, asked me about my commissions, and then I send them my com sheet, and then like just radio silence, they just ghost me past that point.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't ever had anyone just like I talk about prices and then they start haggling with me. I've had plenty of people back before I started really taking commissions all the time, doing asking for requests and stuff like that. But honestly, I've never had someone try to short me.
Okay. And what do you think of the fact that there's a lot of people who say who get, I guess, not jealous, but they get angry at the fact that because okay, because there are some artists out there, especially on Twitter, who will
Mhm.
draw like just pieces of themselves with their friends, or just draw their friends, post it on Twitter and send it to them, all that kind of stuff. People will get angry
Mhm.
because they just did that out of their own free time, and because they wanted to draw it, and they're like, no, you shouldn't draw unless you were paid, or unless you're doing it to add to your portfolio, or things like that. You shouldn't draw for friends, especially if it's for free. Like, what do you say to that?
I mean, I say it's a ridiculous mindset to try to push on other people. Like I definitely like people who would get mad for doing things for other people. It doesn't make any sense because one, you're not involved with it.
Mhm.
And then two, just like if that's how you want to like spend your time, then you can spend your time that way making art. I mean, Lord knows I will put stuff on hold to just make gift art or something like that, someone's birthday, or like I'm just scrolling through Twitter and I just happen to see a particular piece that I have to work on at that moment.
Mhm.
Like there are plenty of times I would say like a very large percentage of all my work is all things that I've gifted to other artists and not something that I was paid to work on. Like that's I would say almost like 80% of everything I've posted is stuff that I wasn't paid for, that I just did because I wanted to.
Right, and because like, and the argument here is literally like, oh, you can't do free art because you're an artist, you should get paid, and if you're giving free art to them, why don't you give free art to me? That's the argument that's going on.
Yeah, it's not a great argument. It's just it's more there's a lot of like you said before, there's a lot of jealousy there. It's just like, well, they got free art, why can't I? And it's just like, well, that's not how that works because I was in the mood to make something for this person, or like it doesn't even have to be any reason. Like, oh, I just felt like doing it, and that's
Mhm.
it. Like, it doesn't have to be anything.
Exactly. Because like, in all honesty, it's just that it's that mindset of, oh, little Timmy got little Timmy got a cookie. How come I don't get a cookie? It's like, oh, because there's not enough cookies for everyone, so he got the last cookie. It's like, well,
Yeah.
you shouldn't even bring cookies.
It's like, also, I like him. I don't like you.
I like him. I don't like. I don't know. Who are you? Where are your parents?
Who are you?
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Exactly.
All right. So let's see. Next question. Have you you said that you've turned down commissions as far as like if they're too complicated with the shading and such, those kind of things.
Mhm.
But have you ever turned down a commission because it was something that just either made you uncomfortable? Well, actually, yeah. If it's made you uncomfortable, you're like, I don't want to work on that, so go away.
Yeah, there's been plenty of stuff that I've turned down for different reasons. For the most part, like I'm of a mindset like as long as you're not hurting nobody, I'm not gonna say anything to you or try to make you feel bad for any of the fetishes that you bring into my DMs. Like I have never and will never freaking put anyone on blast for anything they send me. It's just like I'm honestly just as long as you're not hurting nobody, I don't care. And I think I've turned down a couple of things where it pushed a barrier just a little bit too far for me. I was like, that's I mean, like I'm not gonna say anything to you, but like that's a little bit too far for me, and I don't think it's something I'm gonna work with. Or like stuff that I had a I've had a repeat client who asked me if I could animate a 3D image for him, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, send it to me and let me look at it. And it was like it was an image of a 3D of a three dimensional like setup and on a computer with like a 3D character, and then like, can you move this? And I was like, that's not how this works. That wouldn't work. It would look so bad. Like, sure, I can freaking put some. I could rig that and make it move and make it look like I cut up a piece of paper of a 3D image and made it move. Like, it's not gonna look good.
Mhm. Like I mean, with things like that, you would really need to have the proper like a file, an actual file with these models, and then get some editing software that actually lets you make scenes and such, and then you could make like a GIF or a little video of these kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, I would also need like software to work with the 3D with like a 3D image. Like I'm not great, mate. Like I'm not gonna. I don't know anything about 3D animation.
Mhm.
Like, sure, I'm gonna make the arm like twitch. Like, it's not. They're two vastly different worlds. Like, they have similar principles, but working in 3D animation and making it look good is by far a much harder challenge. Because like with at least 2D, like you can make a character stand still and it looks fine. If a 3D image is not moving, it looks broken. Like there's nothing. Like
Right.
it's so much harder.
Okay. So what would be one thing that you would change about the let's just say the Twitter art world, or as well the Twitter NSFW art world? Is there anything that is within those communities that you would say either needs to change, and if so, how would you want to change it?
I mean, for the most part, the communities are real nice. It's just that there's a lot of trying to police people for certain things, and just a lot of people caring too much about what other people are doing online. Honestly, if I could change anything, it's just people minding their own business if it's something that they don't like, and just block and just move on with your day. There's no reason to stir up a whole fuss or say a bunch of stuff to other people. Like honestly, I personally have as I've grown, like I don't have time to like argue with people. I don't have time to try to be upset about things. Life is way too short to be upset about stuff.
Exactly. I very much agree with that statement. I'm here for a fun time, not a long time.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I mean, with the art community, I've had people say like, "Oh, we need to change how others are treating each other, like,
Hmm.
because people are being toxic towards each other." And my my input on that is, it's the internet. You're not gonna get away
Yeah.
from toxicity. It's the internet. Like, it's just something you can't control. all right. So if you where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Do you still see yourself doing stuff like this as a career path, or do you see yourself keeping the like having this be more of a hobby 5 years from now and leading a different career path?
Uh, I would love for animation and stuff 5 years down the road to become like my source of revenue and like my day to day life. I do hope to change it in a way where I kind of step away from editing images and I start moving towards doing my own stuff. I in high school I stopped drawing. I focused on a certain career path, and I kind of just lost most of my actual artistic ability. And coming back out of it, I'm behind, and it's my skills are as far as anatomy and actually being able to make things look appealing. And I spend all my time working on editing and making animations that way. Kind of neglect the actual drawing part, and I hope in the years coming that I can kind of editing and start doing my own stuff. Because if I mean I got a decent following, but I think I won't be able to make an actual name for myself until I start producing my own producing animations with my own assets, and making more original content.
Right. It's uh, I actually really get what you mean by that because
Mm-hmm.
with this show, it's kind of like I invite guests. Guests are what make this show possible.
Mm-hmm.
And one day there's not going to be any guests, and so my thought process has been like I need to make other content and
Mm-hmm.
see what I'm good with. Uh, it's like I completely get what you mean.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this is always it's this the editing images was it started off as a fun thing I did for uh Miss Miss Katoon. Like that it just started off as a fun thing I did there, and it grew from there. And like it's like things are going great. Like I definitely have a definitely not gonna downplay the decent the nice thing I have, but it's always been uh not hopping coattails, but just taking what appreciation I can get where I can get it until I could make a name for myself and make my own stuff. Because honestly, I can't. Eventually, it's not like this isn't going to be a thing. Like it won't. Like it won't work. Not that it's. I'm trying to make something work, but I want to be my own thing and not just he's the guy who edits images and animates them. Like I want to be this is PinkAnimations work.
Mhm.
Because like you can't just like if you look at an animation, like the only way you know I did it is because it's on my page. If I didn't put that I did it, there's no way of telling. There's no picture. There's no identifying marker. Like that's an animation that Pink did. Like how do you say his name? Tabrele.
Mhm.
I can't. Like his work. Like you see an animation by them. You know it's by them. Like there's no mistaking it.
Right. Yeah, I completely understand. I mean, I've made this show my own, but I
Mm-hmm.
need to make something else my own, especially like I can't rely on guests all the time. Like I do this because I'm passionate about art, animation, and voice acting. Like because especially in the NSFW side of everything, I believe that NSFW artists are not getting enough recognition as they should be getting, and I made this show in order to show everyone the person behind the pen, show that they're more than just the dicks and titties that they draw or the dicks and titties that they animate. A user and
Yeah.
all those kind of things. So, but yeah, I completely get making something your own. Uh, okay. So, another question would probably be, if you had any advice for those who are going through a tough time, as far as art wise, because there's a lot of situations where people will be like, I'm not getting better. It's been so long. I'm still not getting better at art. Maybe I should just give up and just not even draw anymore. would you have any advice to people who are going through that situation?
Uh, I mean, I've had actually had someone ask me this recently for that bit of advice. Honestly, work on stuff you're passionate for. Work on things that you want to, regardless of whether that's original content or jumping on trends, the new sexy character, or the newest video game. Like, make content that you want to make, and honestly, don't the moment you stop caring about growth or recognition or anything like that, the moment you stop caring is normally the moment when your work starts to shine, and normally when people start taking notice, when you stop trying at it. Like, you're putting effort in, yes, but it's when you stop trying to make it something is usually when things start turning around for you, because your mindset loosens up. You're not bummed about a lack of attention to attention to your art. You just kind of let go, and you just kind of take things as they go is really when things pick up.
Okay. Now, this question. This question's gonna be for everyone that I bring on the show from now on because it's
Mm-hmm.
becoming increasingly, it's becoming a bigger and bigger problem. What do you have
Mm-hmm.
to say to the minors who sneak into these NSFW accounts?
I have to say, like, please go. I get it. Trust me, I was a minor who was in NSFW communities and even commissioned NSFW artists. Like, it's not great, and I didn't know back then, and now I know now that that was very bad, and I was putting the artists that I enjoy at risk. And like, please don't, like, especially if you have your name in your bio. It's not great. Like, if I see it, like, for the most part, people, we all block them, and then guess what, then you never get to see it. Like, you could just sit there and wait and come back when you're old enough, but now I'm just going to block you, and I'm not going to take the time to, like, search through my blocks and see that you have, oh, you're now 18, and then unblock you. Like, just, I mean, be smart and don't do it. Like, I get it. We're all we all got things we want to do, but I don't do it, or at least don't let people find out.
It's
Like, don't.
like literally don't, because if you are following an NSFW artist or animator such as Pink, and you want to enjoy their stuff and you're a minor, I would say don't. But
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we can't catch you all, so
Mm.
don't be an idiot and put your age on your bio.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's incredible how people mess up lies or ruses by just being like, well, I gotta talk about it. It's like, no, the best lie is a lie you never tell anyone else the truth about. Like, you like, don't, one, don't, two, I know you're gonna do it, but don't let people find out about it. Like, it's not hard. I did it. Everyone else did it. I can guarantee you, everyone has viewed NSFW content before before the appropriate time. But, like, be smart, and also don't get us in trouble.
And that, yeah, it's just crazy.
I,
Uh,
I felt myself kind of trailing off there.
yeah.
I felt myself going off on a tangent, and I tried to. I was like, I can reel this in. No, I'm just gonna. It just kept going.
So next question, because we're almost out of time.
Yeah,
Uh, so next question would probably be, what is your dream project? What's the one project or the one like place that you want to be at in your like art and animating escapades?
making an original animation with original characters. Like, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what project that would be, or what it is, but it's just honestly something that is just mine, and not something that is attributed to anyone else. Just not that I don't like working with other people. I do. I love working with other artists and other creators, but I want something that's just mine, and something that I can just say that I did this. I did everything from start to finish. It's all mine. Um, I think that's ultimately the end goal, and what I want to do in the end with this.
Okay. All right. Well, that does seem to be the time that we have for this episode. I gotta say, Pink, I really like thank you for being on the show. It was very enlightening and very insightful.
Mm-hmm.
Your advice and just your overall answers. Like, really, thank you for being
Hmm.
here.
Oh yeah, no, thank you for having me. This was an absolute joy. I binged every episode today and yesterday to prepare myself mentally for this. Uh, so I'm definitely excited that I would you gave me the opportunity to come on the show.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, with that being said, all of you out there, all of Pink's links will be in the description below. Pink's links. Uh, they have a Twitter and a Ko-fi, so if you want to go check them out at either of those, or any other social media that I find, they will be in the description box below. My name is Tony, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.